Hit me!
Episode 276.
You've got to throw some cold water on this situation. Start talking about nerd stuff.
You know, nerd culture is mainstream now, so when you use the word nerd derogatorily, it means you're the one that's out of the zeitgeist.
System activate.
This is NetHeads with Will Wilkins and Trent Hunsaker.
It's a tech podcast.
But we are a ton cooler than your typical geek, giving you the info you need to achieve mega nerd status. NetHeads.
You guys rock.
And now, here's Will and Trent.
No one listens to the radio. I wasn't even listening. I was listening to podcasts. Podcasts are great. Radio's boring.
Thank you, Aziz. Welcome, everybody. Another edition of NetHeads. My name's Will.
And I'm Trent.
If you want to take part in the program, you can do so one of many ways. One of them, Twitter. Trent, tell them about it.
Yeah, you can be like our good friend Brian Nelson, Brian D37 in a row on Twitter. Use the hashtag NetHeads. Chat at us. Let us know what you think. Tell us what we got wrong. Or when you're listening to the podcast, just say hi. NetHeads. Hashtagged.
Just say hey. Say hey. How's it going? How you doing? How's it going?
Neat.
Hey, how are you? Hey.
Good to see you.
Yeah, and the benefit is, too, if you do that, whether you're listening live or even if it's after the fact, one, it gives you a way to interact with the program. Two, if you are listening live, which you can do at netheadsonair.com/live for future reference, or sometimes it works and we show up on YouTube, sometimes it doesn't. Who the hell knows?
You never know.
That's, I like to call it podcasting roulette, really.
Yeah.
But as long as we got audio in the end, we're Jake. So, which, by the way, that is a very old saying that I love saying that just nobody knows what the hell I mean when I say that.
Yeah, I just laughed out of my conditioning. I'm like Pavlov's dog, but instead of drooling, I just laugh.
And you're better groomed.
See what I did there?
I did. If you're listening live, it also gives you the opportunity to just straight up hijack the show. Oh, I love the way the video always pauses, because right now it was just like big old goofy-eyed, crazy eyes Will. Anyway, welcome everybody. Boy, Trent, first of all, I want to start the show with an apology.
You're welcome?
No, that's not the way apologies work, but
I'm not familiar with these things.
I appreciate the effort. Thank you. No, for every time I ever said to you, oh, well, Sunday you're not going to the cons, so, you want to podcast then?
Oh, right, because it ended on Saturday.
Right.
And so you'll be good to go the next day, right?
Yeah, next time I say that, it's okay if you want, I'll hire the guy to just come and kick me square in the crotch, because I went to Comic-Con, as you know.
Yes, you did.
And I can definitely say that it wasn't until probably 1 week later that I felt human again.
Yeah, so let's jump in, dude. You went to the king of cons, right? The mother that is San Diego Comic-Con International.
I like that you call it a mother, because boy howdy would I as well. It is.
But you were there for both pleasure and work, right?
Joy and pain.
Yes.
Sunshine.
Yes.
And rain.
So let's dive in. So I mean, why were you there? Who were you with? And let's get into it.
And can anyone corroborate your story? I'm sorry, I thought we were getting a police interview. Yeah, usually, and I've decided something, Trent. A lot of the times, I don't like to talk about stuff because I don't want to appear braggy. Clearly, I have no issues talking about myself.
Sure.
We know this.
Sure.
But when it comes to the things I do for other people, I normally don't like to talk about them because we already get a lot of perks that are obvious. If you're wondering, like so many have probably, why NetHeads is a part of the Smodco internet radio.
At smodcast.com.
Or the Smodco podcast network, or Smodcast Pocket, whatever you want to call it. It is solely because of the work I do. It's like, hey, you put it together, you may as well have a show on it. Gee, thanks. And I accept that. I'm okay with that. It's no big deal. and there are little perks that come along the way as well. So I don't like to talk about things because I don't want to appear. I think the term I clung to and I really liked is braggadocious.
Okay.
Right. So
Okay.
I've decided though that it is finally time to cast that bullshit aside because one. I already talk about myself too much, and people aren't going to like that. So if I talk about the cool stuff I get to do, maybe it'll help draw people in. That's what I figure.
Yeah.
Right? So, yes, I went to Comic-Con, although I can definitely say I didn't really go to Comic-Con. And actually I did something that probably most people don't do for their first time going to Comic-Con, because I went with my beautiful daughter, Emily, and she was my co-pilot for the trip to Comic-Con, as well as my co-attendee, if you will.
Right. Yeah.
And
she was your Robin.
my gal Friday, I'm gonna go with.
Man, that's even better. Good job. Good job.
Well, you know something, you got to get kudos where you can. And I really did that because, honestly, during the summertime, we don't do a lot. We don't go a lot of places. So usually my kid's summer break is nothing that she gets to write home about, nothing to brag about, nothing to be, make the friends envious, if you will,
Yeah.
It's not like they spent 45 different days over in Disneyland across the span of only 60. I don't know how that works. I'm bad at math. We know this already.
That's fine.
So that was the real reason why. And then and plus I just thought it would be cool to be able to just do something with one of my kids, and
Totally.
you get some dedicated time. Hey, look at that. I just stumbled over a word and I invented the perfect term.
Yeah, you made it up. It works.
So Emily went with me, and we decided the best approach was to leave early Wednesday and go down to San Diego, because that way, that's preview night, and we figured I-5 and all the other wonderful roads wouldn't be as congested. So we did that, and that was great. And for reasons I won't discuss, there was something that I had to do on Wednesday still. Even though it's preview night and you get a chance to walk around the vendor floor, I still had some work to do, and it's very simple. Kevin Smith had an Hall H panel, and part of the reason why I got to go is because I'm the tech guy, so I had to be there for the tech check, and so I had to have all the media ready to be able to play, and all I'll say is that unfortunately our tech check time slot got screwed up, so we got there, we relaxed a little bit, then we went for what should have been our tech check time, and then we kind of had to be waited to be fit in.
Yeah.
Now, I will divulge things here that to date I have not talked about, because I am not complaining about the fact that I had to. My daughter, every time Emily had to wait for me to do work, yes, that was boring.
Yeah.
But and this was one of those times. But for me, it was very cool because we were sitting in the back of Hall H in the tech booth, which is basically just some raised platforms with a lot of curtains around them and curtains before them, so they kind of blend in. And if you've never been in Hall H, folks,
dude, I've only heard tell.
It's a monster. Okay, it is just a monster. There are 3 giant screens midway through, so that way every single aisle can see what's going on, and then they project the video also on the back wall of where panelists are. And
so that
it's massive. It's just huge. So while we were there waiting. And because we were in the tech booth, we didn't get cleared out of the room. So I got to see all of the materials that they were showing for Deadpool 2.
Sure. Yeah, because they don't that's the famous thing about Hall H is they don't clear the room in between sessions.
But
right?
no, this was the tech check. So in other words, studios and people are bringing their things.
Sure.
And they're like, no, you're not supposed to see this. And there was even an announcement, anyone that's not part of BBC America, GTFO. But we were in the back of the booth, and I'm like, so we should.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so I got to actually see the trailer for the new season of Doctor Who 24 hours before everybody.
Nice.
So those were the perks, and then it was just a regular night after that. No big deal. Now, I will say that I did not truly have a con experience. We did walk the floor on preview night, but I have to tell you, and apparently it's been this way for a few years, preview night is no joke. It's almost as busy as any other day at con, and the entire exhibitor floor experience is swimming through people. That's what it is, Trent.
Yeah.
Okay?
Dude, like I can only imagine. And it's funny because like pretty much the people I follow on Twitter are more or less just comic book creators, right? Like that's pretty much it. Whether it be like writers, editors, artists, inkers, whatever. That's basically all I use. I use Twitter for following wise, and that's all anyone was talking about was how like, oh, you know, like I thought I was going to be able to like meet so and do this and this, but instead I'm just spending time getting from panel to table, and that's the entire day.
I guess the best way to put it is it's even worse than that, because you, realistically speaking, what you have to do is, and I'm sure this is it, you need to plan which lines you're willing to spend your time in for each day that you're at Comic-Con. That's really what it's all about. You're either going to, I'm going to go try to get into the Good Place activation that's outside, or the Jack Ryan activation, or the Walking Dead activation, which are interesting term. I don't know why they call them activations, but there's all the things that are set up outside of the con itself. And I tell you, I really wanted to get into the Good Place one, but I got to hear what it was like. And I think, did I send you a picture? I sent Trent a few pictures.
You sent me the Mayan stuff.
Yeah, and I also sent you, I had to. There was a guy just cosplaying as the Big Lebowski.
The Big Lebowski. Well, not as the Big Lebowski, but as the dude.
As the dude, yeah, pardon me. I'm sorry. I don't mean to sacrilege. Don't beat me. But I had to, but that was the thing, too. The moment I saw that guy, I just instantly, I'm like, I got to get a picture for Trent. And I'm like, how do I do this? And I'm just like, hey, Lebowski, can I get a picture?
The dude abides.
That's what it was, man. It was just so nice. So, anyway, the whole thing about con is it's really about which I'm sorry, I'm adjusting the wrong camera. Oh well, I'm trying to adjust my picture and it's not working. I'm like, nothing's moving. Anyway, so it really is about what lines you want to stand in, because not only do you get stuck in lines for Hall H, not only do you get stuck in lines for the activations you want to get into, but even any of the vendors or the big booths that are selling con exclusives, you're in a line for that. In the vendor floor, wrapped around booths, up against walls. It's all... Dude, it's just lines. It's all more lines than a cocaine den is what it's got. It's just freaking absurd. And I don't know how people do it, but you know, my hat is literally off to them because I didn't wear it very much. So I ended up finding solace elsewhere. I one of the things I was very preoccupied was making sure my daughter would be entertained. So it was less about my con experience, and it was more about her con experience, if you know what I mean. And she didn't really have a lot of objectives. She wanted to see cool people, maybe try and meet a famous person, and she's all about the CW's Riverdale. So,
okay, it's in my queue, and I've been reading the comic book series that it's based on. So, I've heard good things, and I'm all about the 20-something dramas.
Well, in this case, you would definitely be happy, because everything I see, this has got a lot of it. And my daughter is just like, she just loves it. So that meant that there were two main panels she wanted to get into. Well, there was one that she wanted to get into, the Riverdale one, which, by the way, Sunday at 11:45 a.m. We'll talk more about that a little later.
Okay.
Because naturally, if you're driving up I-5 from San Diego, 455 miles, you want to get out so that early enough so that way you're only doing like an 8-hour drive like we did down, not the 10.5-hour drive and getting home at 12:10. Again, talk about that later.
Yes,
at all,
because of traffic.
Yeah, and late night traffic. Not only that, but late night not important right now.
Yeah.
Saturday, however, there was a panel that I really wanted my daughter to go to. One, because it had one of the Riverdale cast members there, but also the second is because it's EW's Women Who Kick Ass panel.
Oh, nice.
And I'm like, female empowerment. I've got 2 daughters, so I definitely want her to see these panels and get the Hall H experience as well.
Yeah. And not to mention, like, my huge crush on Katie Lotz, who's White Canary in like the CW verse.
Yeah, there you go. So, like, you would have been definitely wanting to do the Legends of Tomorrow thing.
Yes, she's like the captain now.
Yeah, exactly, and quite good at it anyway.
Yeah, she's the best. She's great.
So but again, perks. I did not go to con and have a true con experience. I had the heat, the exhaustion, and the numerous...
And the waiting.
Yeah, but I didn't have it in the same way the normies do, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
Because I had the tech check, I had the recording tag, and because we spent so much time, I got to know people really well, so we didn't wait in any Hall H lines. But that's why I only targeted the specific cons.
Right.
And also because the other reason why I was there was to also record the footage for Kevin's Hall H panel.
Right, yeah.
So that meant that my daughter got a backstage pass. She got VIP seating for that.
Nice.
Never mind that it's a almost 15-year-old girl in a Kevin Smith panel. I'm sure you can imagine.
Yeah, it's fine.
But, I prepped her in advance. I'm like, they're going to show this. This is what you're going to see. You're going to hear this kind of... And the thing that I loved, Trent, the thing that made my heart just so happy was that afterwards, when everything was said and done and we were going back to... I was going back to drop her off to the hotel before I rushed off to Hollywood Babylon, was that she just said, Kevin is such an amazing storyteller.
Yep.
And I'm like, no shit, kid.
Yep.
Why do you think Dad was so enamored to begin with?
Yep.
So anyway, getting back to it, Thursday we really didn't do much, but what we also did, perks again, I had a pass to the IMDb boat, which Kevin does all the interviews on, which I was all about, because I'm like, you could bust your hump to get all these panels and everything else, but this is literally just a cavalcade of stars coming in and out.
It's a revolving door, man.
Yeah, why go to a panel and do this when instead you can do that? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
So we definitely took advantage of the boat. Plus, there's snacks, air conditioning. Trent, it was air conditioned.
Oh.
Yeah, sweet blessed air conditioning.
These are only things I've heard tell.
Yeah, I've heard rumors of such amazing devices and trinkets and things. So the IMDb boat was great because we were people that knows people. We were always one of the preferred people to bring up to be the audience members for the interview. So I got to see the cast of The Walking Dead. I got to see the cast of Star Trek Discovery. Better Call Saul.
Nice.
Geez Louise, I saw so many. And I took a bunch of pictures. I haven't published them yet. But I just got to see Hodor from Game of Thrones.
Oh, yeah, I saw the picture. Dude, now, like, I always forget, Kevin's height whenever I see him, but Hodor is ginormous.
He is, and I'll tell you, there were two pictures that were taken. There was the one that was the first Getty Images picture was taken. It's like, okay, now let's do the height one, and that's where Hodor's just standing there, and it's the one you probably saw, and he's just looking up. So Thursday was a great day. Also, I made sure it was cool with people, and I think I did this somewhat on Friday too, but I also got to just tell people how much I appreciate their work and show. Like, it wasn't until this year that I finally got to see The Shape of Water, and I just loved that movie. I'm also a big fan of Star Trek Discovery, and I don't remember the actor's name, sorry, but the guy that plays the alien, the tall, skinny alien on that, also played the basically the creature from the Black Lagoon in Shape of Water. So I just told him, like, he's up there and they're queuing up, and I'm just like, loved Shape of Water, and I just mouthed it, and he just looked over and said thank you, and I'm like, oh. And I got to tell Garrett Dillahunt. Garrett Dillahunt was there for the Fear the Walking Dead thing, and I got to tell him, dude, I loved watching your character development, not only as or more to the point, watching the spectrum of acting he's been able to do, like even on the Fox network alone, from Sarah Connor Chronicles to Raising Hope, and now on Fear the Walking Dead and the other show he did after that, he's a heavy again. It's just like such a broad spectrum that he's been able to cover. So I had a lot of fun with that. The funniest thing is, like, I wasn't there for any of the CW shows. I wasn't there for Doctor Who because I've also got to work. So these things happen, right?
Yeah.
Also, day 2, we got to go on the boat. We also got to go up to the exclusive green room on the second floor where the air conditioning is much, much colder. And we got gift bags. I'd show you, but it's just like a bunch of stuff, big deal.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I got an IMDb hat. I got a captain's hat that I've been bugging Jordan for like 2 years now. So that was a really great experience. But at the same time, I didn't want my daughter to be stuck on the boat. So I'm like, do you want to go do something else? Do you want to go do this? So we would like bounce around. Thursday also, though, was a very busy night because there was Fat Man and Little Boy with Brian Johnson and Ming Chen, followed by Fat Man on Batman, followed by Jay and Silent Bob Get Old. Thankfully, all I had to do for those was make sure the recordings were going, make sure we got audio
working. Yeah.
And naturally, it's a comedy club. Couldn't bring my daughter. So responsible dad locked her in a hotel room.
Yeah. Look, dude, things are different though. Like being in a hotel room, as in like when we
in Riverdale, because she doesn't watch it in real time. She streams it when it's on Netflix or whatever.
Exactly, man. Being alone in a hotel room is so different now than what it used to be.
But still, as a protective parent, I still make choices. And it was a great night, and it worked out very well. Friday was my favorite day though, because it was the down day for me. No work, all play. So we hung out on the boat. We sauntered around. We said hi to Ming. I got to say hi to Brian Johnson.
Nice.
And then the best part, in the base level of the boat, they also had like a game. They were doing it was a Wheel of Fortune board, but it was all movie themed. So all you had to do was guess the movie name, and you could draw out a prize. Emily and I were the first ones to do it. She ended up pulling out a $360 gift certificate for the Atom app, which is for buying tickets. Yes, I am not paying for movies for the rest of the frickin' year.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah. So after we did all of our events, I wasn't going to go to the IMDb boat and try and get on the party. I want to hang out with my kid. She had been waiting patiently to see Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom, so we just went and did that. And it didn't cost me a goddamn dime.
Nice. Heck yeah, dude.
Because they take the Atom at the cashier, too. So
yeah,
it was really dope. Saturday was the most hectic day. We actually got, I think, a later start because the boat was starting later. And we went in and we did a little bit of that, but then I had to go do the tech check and set up for Hollywood Babylon, which is a little more complex. Screens, overhead projector. That's why mine's not in the office anymore. All that stuff. So we got all that set up, but that took some time. That's why I missed some of the things I wanted to. And then came the pandemonium, which was getting Emily fed, because we did the women who kick ass. But Tech Check took so long for Babel that we ended up missing our window for getting something to eat. She was getting hungry. So got her back to the hotel, got her some food. Then we rushed back to Hall H. I made sure I hit record on the recorder. And then I'm running around doing stuff for probably about the first 20 minutes. But what I did, and this is the best, and this is the reason, I hate to say this is the reason why I was so motivated for Hall H. Naturally, I want my boss's panel to go well, right? I want
the experience to be good for everyone. Yeah,
the media should play that's expected, but there was really cool media that we got to play. First, he showed Hollyweed again, so got to see that, and there was also a special short film that was directed by Tom Cavanaugh, also known as the Reverse Flash, or Harrison Wells from The Flash, and Grant Gustin as down and out guys who have a plan to rob the bank robbers that are going to rob a bank. Okay, that's how they're going to get the money.
Okay,
and it's them, and it's mostly their stakeout, and that was just real fun. But because of that, Tom Cavanaugh was there, Grant Gustin was there, Carlos Valdez was there for the panel. So I was in the same room with these guys backstage waiting for his panel to go, and then I get the message from my daughter reminding me I need to be dad. She's like, "Are you going to be recording the whole time, or are you coming out here?" I'm like, okay, here I go.
Yeah, no, I'm coming out.
I'm coming. Okay, of course, my dear, I'm on my way. So that was really great, and I got to the other thing I really did with Comic-Con was, like I said, tell people appreciation. I wasn't really able to see the Flashcast interview, but I saw them leaving. So as Carlos Valdez was walking back, I just yelled, "Hey, love the show!" And he's all, "Thanks, man." And then as Grant Gustin was walking by, going to the green room for Hall H, I told him, "Love the show." He said, "Thanks, that was nice." For some reason, I was intimidated talking to Tom Cavanaugh. I don't know why. I have no idea.
Because you don't know which one you're gonna get, right?
Yeah, I didn't want him to, and suddenly he's just all, "Now run, Will. Run."
Yeah. He just reaches into your chest. It's like that, that shaky sound, like.
By the way, shout out to Roller Dog NC and at Carval on Twitter. Both of you guys, Ryan Connolly, Matthew Corey. Thanks for joining us, guys. So nice to be heard and so nice to have you here.
Matthew Corey chimes in. It says that actor's name, Doug Jones, the guy from
Thanks for the assist, sir.
Shape of Water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, Star Trek Discovery, god damn. I just recently rewatched the last couple episodes of that. We'll get into that in a second. Really love that show. Anyway, so then Hall H went off with it. Babylon, I had to be on stage to do the audio, and that's not intimidating at all.
Never.
And,
yeah.
No, that's not. And then, of course, naturally, mind you, here's what I had to do. Hall H. Now, this may come as a shock, Trent. Let me make sure I'm getting your reaction here. Kevin's Hall H panel ran long.
Wait.
I know.
Kevin talking got drawn out. Weird.
I know. Nobody expected it. So there was a mad rush to get Emily back to the hotel, and then get to the club to finish the last bits. Because we had everything set up except exactly what we had to set up, if you will, the bare minimum. So getting back there, I kid you not, I clocked it. I spanned 7 city blocks in 8.5 minutes.
On foot?
On foot.
Jesus.
Because it takes much longer just to get an Uber, and then one-way streets, everything, you got to go around.
That's quick, man.
Okay, let me tell you the other thing, too. For the 5 days that we were traveling, the full San Diego trip, lost 2 pounds a day, because by the time we came home, I was 10 pounds lighter.
Yeah, well, think about it, man. Like, you're on your feet the entire day.
Exactly. Right? Again, hey, con was yesterday. You ready? No, Will. Here's a brick. Slap yourself in the crotch with it. I'm not coming. I don't blame you. I'm so sorry, dude. Words can't express. My apologies. So that all came together, though, quite well. Got back to the hotel, but that was a really late night. And the other goddamn thing that has been happening for like the past 3 weeks, between 5 and 6 a.m., I just pop awake. It doesn't matter how much sleep I've had, how late I went to bed. And I think that night I didn't go to sleep until 2, Although I will say it was really cool coming back from Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom, and after we ate, and we're just relaxing in the hotel, and I hit, like, I don't know if it was Turner Classic Movies or AMC, but they were running the original Smokey and the Bandit. And dude, not only is that ridiculous but endearing still, but it reminded me of the time I was 12 years old with the TV guide on a Sunday mapping out. Kids, back in the day, you had to rely on what the TV showed you. You couldn't pick what the TV would show you.
Yeah, like what a foreign concept, man. Like appointment television. Not because it was appointment, because it was the only option to see.
Exactly. You had no damn choice.
It was like, okay, am I gonna watch, rerun of, or, the television adaptation of Terminator on Saturday night, or Smoking the Bandit, or Dateline.
Exactly. I am, and the other thing too. Oh, sorry folks, I didn't realize I didn't turn on the Skype, but things never work. Deal with it. So we the thing I remember that time though, 12 years old, TV guide, and I remember, they're showing Smokey and the Bandit, because Sundays are great because they would just throw up a movie to counter program sports. Why bother?
Right. Yep.
So I remember one day I was just so thrilled because it was Smokey and the Bandit, and then it was some other movie. And everything was just timing out. It was like the one time I had planned the perfect grid. Nobody cares about my...
It's like hitting all greens, but equivalent, but in television movie programming.
Exactly. It was like getting a straight or a flush, or you end up having to flush. Because anyway, so Sunday morning, late start, and once again I just explained about it. We're going to go to this, and I just want you to understand that actions, consequences. We're going to stay late for this. We're going to be in the car a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So that was accepted, and we knew that. And there were still things to do after we got back to the hotel, naturally. But it was nice because Sunday it was a more leisurely day. We were able to walk around a little slower. Got to actually enjoy the Alex Ross Ross art booth.
Dude, yeah. Oh, I've only seen pictures. It looks insane.
Yeah, and because of the connection, we ended up getting in early, so I ended up seeing the Supernatural panel before the
nice.
before the Riverdale panel, and those guys have been going for 13 years. My God,
dude.
So respect.
Well, and it is a diehard following. Like, they have their own con.
Well, they've also, from what I have been told, they have very good, strong mythology. You know what I mean? They've got their backstories and their stories and their continuity worked out really well. And so I think that's going to be my next binge-worthy show. And then Sunday we did one more thing, which is the next topic I wanted to come to, if you don't mind.
Please.
Since apparently you're taking the time on your Monday evening to listen to some other guy talk. Thanks, Trent.
I love it.
This one involves you, though. Because we were walking around and eventually we came to one of the booths where they had the blind box.
Oh,
right?
yes. I love blind boxes.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that because when we then went to say goodbye to Ming, he's like, oh, blind box, what a ripoff.
Whatever, man.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, don't harsh my mellow. That's how I was.
That's just like your opinion, man.
So I wanted to see how you felt about this. Now, Emily wanted the 25th anniversary Jurassic Park one. I feel like a great dad because she got shot glasses. She got a nice blanket though that she liked. She also got a paperweight and salt and pepper shakers. But the paperweight looks like the dinosaur that's coming out of the egg, so that's kind of cool.
Okay, that's cool.
And this Rick and Morty one, they extra pitched me on it because they're like, well, this is exclusive. We don't know how many more of these are going to have. They were only originally supposed to make a certain amount. But at the last minute, they did another issue because of the popularity. So there was only 6,000 of these things made that are in here. And naturally, because I didn't open it in advance, I can't open it now. But the idea is, now I'll fully divulge it because the reason why we got these is because you can't go to a con and walk away empty-handed. It's just
no.
And I wasn't going to try going by the BBC booth to get another sonic screwdriver. Screw it, I'll just order it later.
Yeah.
So this was $60. In here. All right? And it's supposed to be an exclusive figure, which was a bit of a stretch, but okay.
Yeah, exclusive, meaning...
But here we go. I have actually looked in here, but this is for you to decide on the value. Now, one of them is a pin lanyard, a Rick and Morty pinion lanyard.
Nice.
That also has the portal gun.
Nice.
as a keychain or a dangler, an add-on. And by the way, that's when pins are. I don't know when pins became such a thing, but even the straps that they gave you for your badges were pin capable for supporting. You know what I mean?
And it's crazy because I see like people doing like custom pins all over the place too.
Yeah, I mean,
for like bands or like whatever,
Well, Jensen Karp's Patty lapel, they did some there. I've got some of them, and Loot Crate would give a pin in every goddamn box. So, anyway, so here's what we got. I'm gonna save this one as the last one. So here we go. The first thing is a Rick and Morty. It's a Meeseeks box coin bank.
Can do.
It's already and it comes in a big Meeseeks box. So in Department of redundancy, but that's okay.
He's trying.
But everybody needs a place to put their coins. And now, if I ever get my shit together and the shelves built behind me, I have, oh, wow, this thing is ceramic, too. It is a literal coin bank. It's not.
Yeah. But it's like a Meeseeks box. So when you press it, you get a Meeseeks.
No, it just says give me money, which is the same thing the box lady said. Okay, second item is, here we go. We have got... I love it that it's the Schrodinger's cats on all the boxes, by the way. So you can definitely tell. This was season 2.
Yeah,
is it's Mr. Meeseeks salt and pepper shakers.
Ah, okay.
Those would go good in your kitchen. That's what I think. That's just me. But don't covet my salt and pepper shaker, Trent.
No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
And I use like the industrial shakers. Like I buy it in like restaurant chef style.
You're like one of the original rump shakers too, aren't you? I think so. Oh, yes. Here we go. We also have the Rick and Morty single glass
tumbler. Nice, dude.
Yeah, I didn't even know I had that in there. I really did not look at this very well. And now here is the coup de grace. Here is the big one. This is the big exclusive. They called it a figure. I think it's a stretch calling it a figure, but I'm still tickled pink. So mind you, now to date we have had the lanyard and the badge holder.
Yes.
We have had the Meeseeks coin bank. We have got the salt and pepper shaker and the tumbler.
Correct.
Finally, and mind you, this is supposed to be an exclusive to the box. So when I go online and I find them later, I'm going to be really pissed. but it is a 3D Rick coffee mug.
Oh, dude. Totally worth it.
So the total value of this box was $60. The question is, and if you're watching this on YouTube later, feel free to provide your comments in the section below. Have we ever said that? I've been dying to do that.
I don't know, but I hear kids do it all the time.
Yeah, exactly. And we're trying to, they're wondering why these old guys are opening a box. But, it's because it's what we do, man. It's what we do.
Ugh, it's been so long since I've opened a box.
Let's not go there. So anyway, so that was like the final part of the con experience was getting that box, and I'm happy with it. I feel it was worth it, and I think what we spent for Emily's was worth it as well. And I guess that's what it comes down to. If you're getting a blind box, if you're happy with the contents and you don't feel like you threw away money.
Yep, totally.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and plus, dude, I can only imagine San Diego Comic-Con is not your regional con where all the comic book shops come and unload unmovable back issues, right? Like that you're not getting a discount on product at San Diego Comic-Con. Like it's priced accordingly, and you just expect that as part of the experience.
Well, I also think that when it comes down to it, you would only undercut yourself if you do blind boxes and then you just give a bunch of crap, right?
Totally, yeah, because fool me once, right?
Exactly. So that was that. The other two cool things from the experience that I got to take away, well, three actually. So while I was upstairs in the green room before they shut it down for Hall H, I saw Kevin Smith getting announced, and then I saw him get his Inkpot Award. And I was so glad everyone else had left the room because I just started bawling.
Oh, geez.
I was crying like a toddler ready to throw a tantrum. I was just like almost ugly crying too. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And then the second thing that happened where I literally cried, and it wasn't because of Kevin being on stage, which I was appreciative of, but it was when I came out from backstage to go check the recording before I would sit down with Emily. And I looked, and actually, if you see the picture that Kevin tweeted, it may look a little familiar if you're a follower of mine, because it's the picture I took, and I had to because, mind you, the last time he was in Hall H, J.J. Abrams took everyone to a concert.
Right.
Right? Yep. And honestly, I'm sure I don't have any insight to it, but I know that no matter what, if I was going into Hall H, my big thing would still be, nobody's going to show up. Well, I mean, if it were me, definitely nobody would show up. But, I mean, if I were anybody, that would still be nagging in my head. And when I came out and I just saw that sea of heads and all those people, I just started blubbering.
Yeah.
And it's because, honestly, and most of this, by the way, folks, this comes as from being a fan. That's what it really is.
Yeah. Holy man, like
I don't get into IM exchanges, and it's not like we're swapping emails, telling jokes, high fiving backstage. That's not my interaction with Kevin Smith. Right. That's not what it is. But I greatly appreciate the man, and I think that he does a lot of good for a lot of people. He spreads a positive message. He tells you to go out, do your thing, but just go out and create something because you're all unique content. I mean, all great messages. And really, he's adopted this approach of just spreading positivity, and I love that. And so seeing that just made me feel so damn good. And also, the one other cool thing, the one time we were in the second level green room level on the boat, I'm the one that got to take the picture that you saw where they're all huddled around a laptop watching the Aquaman trailer.
Nice.
Which, by the way, dude, the Aquaman trailer.
Yeah, right?
Whoa. I never thought that there would be a time where I would be excited for an Aquaman movie.
Aquaman of all characters, right?
I mean, yeah, and especially after what we saw even in Justice League, because look, if you're quoting Rick and Morty in the simulator and you got the mailman going, "My man," I'm with that. Man. But you get Aquaman falling onto a jet and then saying, or onto a car and looking at Batman and saying, "My man." I don't know. I didn't connect with that. But this movie looks amazing. And I got to see when the director was there, he was on the boat, and I got to see him be interviewed by Kevin as well. And really, it sounds like he what's the current participating term? He really leaned in to the Aquaman universe.
Yeah.
And also, it was very nice to see that they don't just talk in these self-created air bubbles. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So, but yeah, the Aquaman trailer looked good. I'm still kind of thrown on whatever Titans is going to be for the WB streaming, DC streaming. I don't know. I'm not really sold on that. But other than that, I didn't really get to see a lot of the stuff. I mean, like, I'm still catching up on content from Comic-Con. I don't know.
From all the stuff that was released, yeah.
Yeah, because it's just impossible to track. But that was my con experience. I still had a wonderful time. I would definitely go back as long as I do it the exact same way I did it this year. Because I don't know how other people do it. I honestly don't. And because really, it almost looks like there is this gigantic... I don't know. There's a con look on some people. It's kind of a combination of exhaustion, excitement, and sadness all at the same time.
Dude, I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know what I mean? It's just like it's so thrilling. Oh my gosh, I got to see this. I have no energy. I just spent $10 on a pretzel. You know what I mean? It's just like
I know exactly what you mean.
I'm exhausted. I don't know what to do. So again,
that's perfect.
In advance, I apologize once again. We're coming up on September. When you go to the Salt Lake Comic-Con, pardon my French, everybody, I'm just going to promptly fuck off from your life until you surface, and that's that.
Yeah.
That's all I plan on. But I did have a great experience. Now, sir, you have spent 30 minutes, you spent a lot of time listening to some other jackass talk.
Oh, it's great, dude. I loved it.
I want to take a new approach on something, if you don't mind.
Oh, okay.
I'm really.
You want me to turn around?
No, not right now. Not later, honey. Later. No, first of all, if you don't mind, I want to step into Trent's Corner. It's that time where we find out what is in Trent's Corner.
Ew, what's that?
I don't want to do this, but I'm going to anyway. What is in Trent's Corner? Anyway, Trent, Prime Day came and went.
Yeah.
As you know.
Came and went.
As a matter of fact, sir, as promised, you have an Echo Dot that will be coming your way.
Yes!
I have isolated. We upgraded one with those refurbished, fancier ones. So I have one that I'm going to be sending to you, especially since I never got a purchase confirmation on the meat. We'll talk about that later.
Thanks, man.
So I'll be sending that your way because it can work and help control a little device that I also picked up that appears to have changed my life. Now, you are well versed in this device. I am still learning, and it's a very simple device known as the Amazon Fire TV.
Dude,
the Fire Stick.
Such the remote alone is so worth it, man. I will never understand. Like a third party could if someone would go in there and make just a handheld remote control that can sync to all the things, right? It can sync to your Chromecast. It can sync to your, you could run it on Android essentially, right? But just have an analog buttons to push, and then just have it access and work as well as the Fire Stick remote does. Dude, they have got it so dialed in on giving you a television experience with a streaming device it just blows me away that Google hasn't done something to to try and match it. You could sell that for $20 on just on the side, and I would buy it because I hate going through everyone's individual app and they all suck.
By the way, I have to mention when I bought my Fire Stick, it was $19.99, so I'm right in there, that alley with you. So, Trent, I have to ask, because I wanted to get in a little bit into cable cutting. Unfortunately, we've only got 13 minutes. Maybe we'll actually do another show a little later in the week or some other week. All I know is you got 2 a month, just as promised. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So was the Fire TV, was that pivotal to your ability to cut cable?
Well, not necessarily Fire TV, but just I think the price point of streaming services, and then the I think the main thing for me is as far as being okay to cut the cable is getting backlogged on enough things, having enough things curated that I knew I was going to enjoy to watch, that I always had something to watch, so that I'm always catching up on something. Like when you first jump in, there is kind of like this, like, I'm missing this and this and this. But once you start like diving into other things, dude, oh my gosh. So, I had Monday and Tuesday off this week for, Pioneer Day, Utah holiday. Yeah, last week. So I had a 4-day weekend, dude. I caught up on The Walking Dead. I caught up on, what else did I catch up on? American Horror Story. I've gone through so much television without having any like cable television that, yeah, like I think for me, it's, it's having a few options, right? As far as services go, and then having a backlog of curated stuff to actually watch.
Well, much like you, first of all, I got to tell you something funny. So I bought the Fire TV, not knowing that it was the centerpiece, now get this, to my daughter's grandmother, my mother-in-law. She cut her cable. She's only got internet, and she's got the Fire TV or Roku boxes in the house now. And but she's got all the channels because, as you know, AT&T bought DirecTV.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And eventually somebody realized, hey guys, there's all this internet infrastructure we could utilize instead of having to worry about satellites and dishes and all that dick.
Yep. And the ridiculous cost of running things in outer space.
Yeah, exactly. So they've come up with this DirecTV Now, and I'm testing it out right now to see if we can go this route. We'll still have to have Comcast for our cable, and we'll still be contending with that 1 terabyte cap. But I remember you said, so you just upgraded for 1 month, or it was something. Yep. But the DirecTV Now service that you can sign up for and power through your Fire TV stick, so it's right there on your television. I swear to God, Trent, it has every single channel, if not more, than I get from Comcast right now.
Yep. And gives you DVR capabilities for everything.
Up to 20 hours of cloud DVR.
Right? Like, come on.
Which realistically, I believe would suffice, because I don't really DVR a lot. I'll just defer to online viewing later. Yeah. Like, I can't even tell you the last time I watched Last Week Tonight actually on a television.
Right.
But I wouldn't have HBO with that. But neither near. Actually, I think with the package, I get to pick one of them.
I was just gonna say, usually you'll get an option for Showtime or HBO, and then to add it on, it's like $8.
Yeah. And the other thing too about this is that from my perspective, I've already got the Netflix account, I got the Hulu account, I got the Amazon Prime. So anything I do to cut the redundancy for what I'm paying for would be a savings, really.
Correct.
And one of the big concerns we had about cutting cable, because we're parents, is that having entertainment for our child, because naturally we don't want to watch her all the time. Who wants to do that? So, let the TV be the babysitter. No, I'm kidding. But, the kids do like to watch some of their programs. And it turns out it's like, okay, Doc McStuffins. I pick up the remote. I'm like, okay. And I just, hold it down. And I'm like, Doc McStuffins.
Yes, talking into it. Oh, that's such a good aspect to it, too.
Oh, my kid is obsessed with this Baby Shark or Daddy Shark song that's done by somebody. It doesn't matter. It's a kid thing. But I spoke that into the remote. Boom, there it was. And so I said, like, Doc McStuffins was what she was looking for. And sure enough, it was on Hulu, I think. And I'm like, I've got a Hulu account. Boom, It's there. The only thing we can't contend with right now, and it's because, boy, that's a ridiculous price, is being able to watch the San Francisco Giants. My wife is a big Giants fan, so she wants to watch the Giants. And she's also very used to the broadcasts that we get out of this area. So, wait, I don't know what I was saying. I got a message.
But I thought that part of it was getting MLB TV.
I don't know. I haven't been able to crack that nut. And I don't know if MLB at bat would be good, because my wife really likes the broadcasters that are on MSN.
Oh, the local,
NBC Sports.
Yeah.
But I don't even know if those are or aren't on it yet. I haven't really investigated that. But so I think literally all of my concerns are almost gone. And I really feel like I'm ready to tell Comcast, I'm going to keep the cable. That's it.
Yeah, or the
internet.
Cable internet. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to keep internet, and that's it, guys. And we'll be done.
Dude, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, because you're already paying for these services anyway. I looked into the Hulu's version for live television. A coworker of mine just recently cut his cable, and he's doing it through the YouTube's live television, and like the DirecTV Now, you're getting the I think it's 20 hours you said of DVR to it. Like, it just makes sense to me, man. Like and you're right though. He did talk about like, because he's got a 2-year-old and a newborn, and he was talking about like they've had to be, you know, just a little bit more mindful of what they want to watch and make sure that they're getting the new programs of it, especially and then finding the YouTube / HBO stuff for Sesame Street.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So there are options. By the way, Ryan Connolly at Carval on Twitter pointing out, every day I get old people like Nethead W asking about cutting the cord at work. But you know, I think that's if my mother-in-law can do it, I can make it work.
Totally.
Right?
Yes.
Now I will say though, and by the way, so thank you for the bit of guidance there, and I'll lean on you more, and thanks for letting us step into your corner. I don't want to keep it too much longer. We got a couple minutes left, but I do have to say though, I had a fun experience today because I'm gearing up for this. So I got a new wireless router. It's a mesh one. So I've got a broadcast point now right behind the television, so that way the streaming will be set. Got one upstairs now, so we got solid coverage. And what is this thing called? It's I'm not endorsing this. I'm not saying it's a good one or not, but I saw it and it looked pretty and I wanted it. It is called the Amplify HD, and it seems to be really damn good.
Is it a bridge?
It is. It's a little cube, and then it comes with little plug-in antenna devices for the mesh extending.
Yep.
And it's kicking the ass of my TP-Link Google On Hub or whatever it was. It's just smacking it around and telling it to find a new corner is what it's doing. That's a bad analogy. I'm sorry. I don't know how that happened.
No. My roommate who does IT at the university, the university owns some housing properties that are actually off campus. But they don't want to lay, you know, they have to have the same internet access that the regular campus stuff has, and so they use those to bridge like a block, and it gives them adequate internet service for the tenants that live there.
Well, the funny thing though, Trent, is I never realized how much smart shit I've got in my house until I spent an hour walking around.
Connecting it all.
My lovely wife Denise, my daughter Emily, they went out to an appointment. They were gone for a bit of time. From the time they left, I started this endeavor until the point where my wife said, "Oh, we're delayed," and that was about an hour in. Then I had finally just sat down because I had to go around to every Echo device. I had to go the TVs, the Blu-ray player, the Fire Stick, And then I realized, why is the house getting uncomfortable? Well, I got smart thermostats. They don't know what to do now.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And then finally, last minute, my wife's like, "Oh, I really need you to print this thing." Guess how I connect to the printer, too.
Yep.
I will say, though, like I said, compared to the On Hub, which, by the way, is several years old, so I'm not surprised. But now my entire network is exactly the way I want it. And I have the ability to just turn internet access off for any device. So Emily is being very much mindful now. That's wonderful. And it gives me the control I want. So that was good. But, man, I tell you, I the minute Denise got home, I said, we are never, ever, ever getting a new Wi-Fi device again. Never. Or we're just going to have a dumb house. That's what we're going to do.
Yeah, we're going to connect everything by wires, the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, exactly. To hell with it. So, Trent, last thing I wanted to talk about. I don't want to talk about the content. I don't want to talk about anything else. But I do want to talk about the James Gunn situation.
Yes, I think that's a good idea.
And I only say this because, one, when it happened, even though I've done nothing that I would deem as questionable, it really made me reevaluate how much of my social media I really want to have anymore. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But also, I don't even want to talk about the hypocrisy of it. But what I wanted to talk about, I think, is actually the momentum we're seeing after it. Earlier today, Chris Pratt, via I think Instagram or Twitter, made an announcement. This is basically the cast's position on all this, and they want Gunn reinstated.
Right.
And even though he said what he said all those years ago, he had already acknowledged those and already apologized for them. Are we? I guess what I want to talk about on this is really: are we at a point now where are we being too quick to judgment? Are we being too overreactionary? And where do we draw the line? I mean, how do you differentiate between what happened to Roseanne Barr and James Gunn? And how do you work through? I don't know. What are your thoughts on the whole thing, man?
Well, it's super interesting. The crappy thing is, I was talking to a friend about this last night. Is no one comes out looking good in this, right? Disney doesn't come out looking good in it. James Gunn obviously doesn't come out looking good in it. Fans it affects no one in any way. That's for the better. I mean, and granted, there's been tons of internet memes about it's pretty hypocritical for Disney to hold someone accountable for something they did a long time ago, relatively, right? If we want to look at Song of the South, but right.
Well,
no,
that's hard. Somebody put that on Twitter, and that was was the one point where I'm like, yeah, that's the hardest bit to reconcile. How can you say anything when you have this history in your catalog of one of the most what is blatantly racist movies ever made?
Yep. Yeah. So it's at the same time, right? Let's say they didn't take any action, okay, and then you've got. I can only imagine a shitload of people who are going to go crazy about it, right? So it is an awful position for anyone to be in, for Disney to be in, for James Gunn to be in. And I'm not saying that there is a statute of limitations on anything, right?
Right.
But I do think there is a chance for people to grow, for people to take responsibility for things they've done. And then for the rest of us to move on, right? I think that's different for every person. If Disney was that worried about it, they probably would have done more vetting prior to hiring him, right?
Not to mention...
It was only a problem when someone else brought it up.
Yeah, and was there really that much reaction to it too? That's the other thing I don't know. I mean,
right.
And what reaction was it? So I guess really that's what it comes down to.
Right. Yeah. And like I said, thank God I'm not having to deal with the PR nightmare on both sides. But it's very interesting just because, had he said that today, yes, he deserves to be off the project. Absolutely. Right. Like Roseanne. Right. And I think that's the difference. Right. Is looking at someone's character, looking at their actions for an extended amount of time, seeing if they've grown, seeing if they are still behind that wheel. And if not, then you move on.
Yeah, exactly. You give it a chance. You make things a little better. You make the world a better place is what you do.
And honestly, I feel like his work in the past 5 years has done that.
I do too. I think it speaks one. I mean, and that's the ironic thing about this is that you have these movies that are more about finding family and becoming family and loving one another. That's what it's all about. And I mean, these movies have very positive messages. It's not like, you find out the guy that directed Powder. Well, never mind. But, I'm just saying.
Right.
I don't know. And at the same time.
That's a callback.
Yeah, right. At the same time, though, the other issue I have with the goddamn thing is that, you've just got. Well, never mind. I don't know. When you look at the source for where it was generated from, I'll just put it that way, okay? Because, I try to not be political here. But you look at who generated it when it's just it's the guy who generated it. And you're kind of like, consider the source. Is this really a thing? And how the hell have we come to this point now where the extreme right just wants to bring down the West Coast liberals or Hollywood stars or anything else. I mean, honestly, every day I wake up and I just don't know what to do anymore, Trent. I guess that's what I'm saying. When the fuck is shit going to get less crazy again?
2020.
Fingers crossed, brother. Fingers crossed. By the way, if you are turning 18, if you have the ability to vote, I don't care who you vote for. I don't. The important thing to remember, folks, is if you are not happy about what happened in this country, I want you to remember that the vote was decided by 50. Let's see now. The eligible voting population that voted, it was 1/4 of the country that decided the direction of the country, because not enough people that have the ability to go out and vote go out and vote. So if you are registered, vote. If you're not registered to vote, get registered to vote. If you're registered and you're worried, make sure you're still on the register. Make sure you're still able to vote. Do whatever you can and go out and vote. I don't care who you vote for during the what are these called, the midterm elections. I don't care who you vote for. What I want to see is I want to see record turnouts for this vote, because then I at least feel better that more of the country got out there and actually took action. So please don't be lackadaisical. Don't think it's the midterms or anything else. Every vote counts and every person counts. So please use your voice. It's part of the core of what this country was founded on. So please go out and vote.
Mic drop.
Thanks, brother. Anyway, folks, I think that's it for now, because I didn't create a list of what I wanted to talk about. And boy, oh boy, did Will just talk forever, that asshole.
I liked it. It was a good one.
Well, thanks, man. And I miss talking to you. And hopefully
I feel like I got to go on. I got to be there. It was good.
Yeah, look, right on. Yeah, and believe me, I wish you had been, just because it was a fun experience. And
no, I don't want to go stand around. Fuck that. I like listening to you better than having to go through the whole miserable experience.
Yeah, there you go. Oh my God. And dude, look, I'm not complaining, because entitlement. But seriously, you at least hear San Diego and you think, oh, cool, we're going to be in the 80s because San Diego's by the ocean. It's always cooler. They had just had a storm, high humidity. So 88 felt like 96. And part of the 10 pounds I lost, I guarantee you, was all sweat away.
Sweat.
Because most of the time I wanted to walk places. I wanted to get up and move. So it's just like, but I thought I overpacked. And the last night I was washing shit in the sink just so I would have something to wear home. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
It's ridiculous. Anyway, folks, thank you very much for putting up with this whatever this is. So glad that you are listening to us. So thankful that you are there for us, and we will try and be there for you, because like I've always said, Trent, if you don't do a podcast enough, your numbers are just going to fall. So we got to do more, and I accept responsibility too, because you've already given me clearance. You're like, "Hey dude, you want to go talk, you want to talk to other people, that's fine too."
Yeah.
You're like, "This is an open relationship. Put your keys in the bowl. I'm okay with it."
Yeah, so I'll just leave the mask on and watch.
There you go. This is what I was hoping for. And you see, it's that kind of shit that's been in our shows the whole time. And it's like, do we have to worry about that now? Oh my gosh.
Oh, dude, I am just glad that I will never have a job that's high paying enough for anything like that to matter.
Well, that's what you think, but you never know what the future holds, my friend. Anyway, folks, thanks so much for being there for you. We greatly appreciate it. Until next time, my name is Will.
And I'm Trent.
And we'll be back
soon.
This is NetHeads with Will Wilkins and Trent Hunsaker.
Signing off. I know, right? But stop being a little Nancy and deal with it.
NetHeads. NetHeads. We'll be back soon.
Goodbye.
This has been a production of Smodco Internet Radio. Sir, only at smodcast.com.
I was so concerned about playing the right audio file. I just left the shot on you the whole close.
Oh, did you really?
Thank God you didn't pick your nose or adjust your junk or... Oh, my gosh.
I'm just sitting here like...
Oh, man. By the way, I have to say, I got one picture of a great Hawkman that I loved at Comic-Con. Yeah. The cosplay, I don't think I even gave it enough credit, but I think the one thing I was doing, because I'm a big fan of Mythbusters, I was constantly looking out of the corner of my eye for every costume. And I'll tell you what, it was, I can't remember, it was obviously the day he was walking around. We were walking around the front of Hall H or getting there. We were going somewhere, and I ended up seeing Adam Savage's costume. And I pretty much thought that was him. I was actually an early spacesuit, but I thought it was the deep sea diver from Scooby-Doo, that deep sea diving ghost.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was more of a stovetop style helmet. But I pretty much, I saw that and I figured, oh, that's probably him. And sure enough, it was. I wish I had gone up because I would have loved to have been one of the assholes that looked like they were taking a picture not knowing it was him.
Right, yeah.
You know? But anyway, sorry I left hanging on you there. It's like,
it's okay.
In the end, you end up dancing anyway, right?
That's what I do, baby.
You do.
That's what I'm here to do.
All right. Yeah, well, I'm gonna cut this off so you can dance for me real pretty now.
We'll just dance it out, baby.
Right on,
dance
right on.
out.
Well, as he said, right on,
Play
right
it out.
on.
What the fuck does that mean? Play us out.